Hi everyone, welcome to Unit 3 of Section 4. We're almost to the completion of the graphic arts course, and I hope you've enjoyed this process from the conception of your idea to working at your storyboard or mock design, all the way up to working on the product, getting it finished where you want it, preserving it, and then also getting it prepped for display. But today we're going to be talking about a topic that is a little off-center from what you think of when you typically think of creating art. For not everyone thinks when they start to create a piece of art that they may actually sell it or money could be involved later on down the line. But you, as a young student in this graphic arts course, probably means a couple of things. It either means, number one, you are really interested in art, that you want to maybe have a career in art one day, so that's why you're taking art classes in high school. Or you may be a student that says, art seems fun, I need another elective or another course to fill up my hours to have a full course load for this semester, so I'm going to take the graphic arts course and see what happens. You may really not even enjoy art, or you may really love art. Who knows? Only you do. But if you have shown an interest in this course, and let's say you've enjoyed the entire process from conception of an idea to finishing your piece to displaying it, you could potentially have a career in art. I've seen so many wonderful products and examples from students during the first pilot program for this course, so I know what you're capable of. So today, join me in us looking into how you could be profitable with your work. The biggest aspect of that being this unit, which is on promoting yourself, getting the word out about your work and what you're doing. The next unit will be talking about ways to actually sell, what type of products you could offer with your art, and then also running a small business with your art. What does that mean and how do you do it? But first, we need to talk about promoting your work, because if no one knows about your work, then it's hard for others to maybe invest in it. So join with me today as we look into that. Now we're going to be covering a couple of terms today, actually a lot of terms, but two that stick out the most that I want you to really pay attention to. First is going to be brand. Now, your brand is what your style of art is what you produce, that when people look at your work, they connect it to you. It's your own fingerprint in your work. The next term we're going to be talking about is a portfolio. Those of you interested maybe going on to college and maybe majoring in some sort of art-based curriculum, then that's something you'll have to have. A portfolio is very important. It showcases your work, and usually it shows a range of different talents in different medium. So let's go ahead and now jump into the first aspect of this last section within the graphic arts course, dealing with promotion and promoting yourself as an artist. Let's begin. So promoting your work. How do you get your art into the hands of other people, maybe even those who might want to invest in it, purchase it, or promote it even further? Well, this task is something that many artists across the globe think about every day. I'm one of those. Now you may notice some signs behind me, the signage, different things concerning my logos. I use those a lot whenever I promote any type of thing or event that I'm doing. So if you looked at the media sign behind me and think, well, what is that? Well, it's connected to me and my work. It's my imprint, a micro press for publishing mini comics and other types of books. It's something that I'm working on. So in the future, it's going to be my brand. Now, brand is the term that I mentioned earlier that we're going to be talking about and thinking about today. So as we go through all of these different suggestions on how to promote your work, keep that in mind. What you're creating, if you're serious about art and graphic design, your art is your brand. You are your brand. So what are you going to be concerning your art? That's the question you want to ask yourself today as we go through this unit. Also, get a pen and paper ready. We're going to be going through some concepts and suggestions pretty quickly to get everything in. So I want you to be sure and write down some of these, if not all of these, that you find or may find to be beneficial. Now you notice around me you see some different things like the online portfolio at the bottom, which we'll be covering. See all the hands reaching out with all the tons of different links to social media platforms. Now, this can feel overwhelming. I don't want that to be the case. Take one small aspect, one step at a time, and work on that. But write down all of these different suggestions so that in the future, you'll be able maybe to equip these with you and your brand. Now, promoting your art. I want to talk about 6 things in general that you can do in order to promote your work. Now, promoting your work is not simple. It's something that takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy and a lot of attention. But, like I said earlier, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed with it. Social media links can be there available for you to exchange your work, show your work, and share your work. Think about which one you like the best. You don't have to use all of them at once. Start with one, maybe let's say Facebook, and that's where you can begin. Now, as an artist, it's not enough just to produce your work. You need to promote your art as well. Your artistic path may be more about your inherent need to create and leave your mark on the world, but this won't help to introduce your work to the art community. So, in order to make sure that this reaches the highest of communities and the right audience for your work, we need to think about brands. So, what is a brand? A brand identifies aspects of your work and art that are attributed to you as an artist. You may have a certain media that you like to work in more than others. You may have a certain style of line. That means how you draw a certain line, the thickness to width, and all that thing. So it all just comes to play into how you do your work. Your brand can also be an identifier for you. It could be a logo. So you can take that even further. You can even start to design your portfolio around your brand. You have a certain style of art that really connects to others, and maybe people have commented on one aspect of your work that sticks out the most. That's your strong suit. That's where you actually should be focusing in on the most. So use your portfolio to promote your art. If you develop a strong artistic portfolio, your goals should be twofold. You should be able to both develop your brand and package your art. Your portfolio should make it easier for you to submit to competitions, post to websites, and develop marketing material. And one of the most important elements here is the visual reproduction of your art. We're going to be talking about that a little bit further, but you don't want to share poor images of your work. Let's consider a few works that's actually online now. This is an online platform that allows artists to both share and critique work. So you can actually post artwork onto this site, Nofolio, and folks will actually critique your work for you. If you're going to do this, or if you want to share your work in general in any way in a digital portfolio, you want to make sure that you scan your work, and you want to make sure that if you take a photograph, each exposure should be executed and visually compelling. It should be accompanied by a distinct and captivating text too. Details such as size, media, title, all that should be included. A strong bio is also important. If you're working with social media, then you understand how important it is to identify yourself or whatever it is that you're promoting. So let's take Instagram, for instance. For your Instagram account, it might be interesting to list the title of the account as your brand instead of your name. But you could use your name as the title for your brand, such as myself, for example, ChristopherEppling.com. That's my name. That's my brand. Promoting your work with a strong internet presence is very important. In every industry, digital marketing is becoming more and more relevant, so this is no different in the art world. Online galleries such as ArtMind are becoming the norm and provide a great venue for promoting your art by attracting attention of new collectors, art enthusiasts, and just general folks that are looking into maybe purchasing a certain style of art. There's even complete manuals, books, there's classes, all sorts of different types of resources out there that want to help you to promote your work. Some of these are dedicated to one specific platform, like this is Pinterest, over others. So this can feel overwhelming. Like I said earlier, take one and go from there. Do not feel overwhelmed. You can take it easy, step at a time. Now, most artists think when they perceive art as being sold, that you go into a gallery, see a piece of work, you say, that's wonderful, I want it, and then you buy it. In today's world, things are changing greatly. In today's world, one piece of art may be seen by millions of people online instead of maybe thousands in a gallery. This type of method of viewing art and receiving art is changing everything. Your portfolio can be the identifier for your work. It's your first representation of you as an artist, so be sure and select works that you find meaningful
that perhaps through critiquing with others and peers, you've had many compliments on certain aspects of it. It's also important to include a variety of media. So let's say if you work within pen and ink or colored pencil or watercolor, having a variety shows that you have a range of work that you can work in and you can produce in. Now we've talked a little bit about aspects with artists that are actually sharing their work online. So when you scan an image, it's important that you actually show it so that folks can see all aspects of it, not just a small portion. Also, include, like we said, some text with your image. This artist has selected to show not only the finished product, but the 3 images leading up to the final version. This artist has also titled their work and described their work. This type of platform is easy for folks to look at and get all the information they need from a piece of art just from what you have listed as the information. Taking a photograph of your work is okay. You could use your phone now. Phones are more equipped than they ever have been with very efficient cameras. You can also use a standalone camera. But really with art, the important aspect is to scan your work. If you're photographing your work, you may have glares or aspects of your work that aren't showing up. I can't stress enough how important it is to list clearly the information with your work. If you're showing this in a physical form in front of people, an audience that are physically there, they need to be able to read aspects of your work and know who did it, when, how they did it, and also a little bit maybe about the motivation behind the piece. This is just the same when listing online. When sharing your work online, you should also include these things. This is an example of an artist bio. Artist bios are basically your background. Now, you being a student, being young, perhaps still in high school, you may have some things to list, but as your life experience grows, so will your bio. So don't feel overwhelmed if you don't have a lot to share just yet. But one of the things you can list starting out is that you completed and went through the graphic arts course here on the Holler. That is something to share, to be proud of. The first step really into looking into sharing your work online is to find a search engine and do a little digging. It'll feel overwhelming at first with all the different ways that you could go about sharing your work online, but please remember, start with one and move from there. Now there's 2 aspects to this. There's online promoting of your work, which you could do through different social media links. Then there's also, as you can see here, a platform for you to build your online portfolio to share with potential clients. It's 2 very different things. Promoting your work through a social media link can combine these 2, so you could actually promote your work while also looking into finding clients which will purchase your work. Now, Adobe Photoshop Express allows you to organize images in this manner. It's very efficient. It works really well. You can collect an online portfolio with really nice high-resolution photographs, and you can list those for potential clients to look at. Think of the internet and all the platforms that exist as an online gallery. Because basically, that is exactly what it is. Just like you would walk into a physical gallery, look around, the online galleries are no different. A lot of time clients will actually go online to see what types of new art is being produced. So they visit sites such as Numa. This is a contemporary online art community that allows artists to actually go, list their work, the background behind it, and give a price tag to it as well. Of course, the website receives a small portion of that, but overall, you can see that it's not bad as a platform to list your work. Some artists have went as far as to create websites based on their work, which is an amazing step, and I suggest everyone do this. To have a sufficient online portfolio, your 2 options are go to a social media link, a platform that allows you to share your images in a community with others, or create your own website dedicated only to your work. There's many different free website platforms where you could actually go and create your own website for free. And this website can actually be listed on all different platforms: laptop, phone, tablet. So these are things to think about. Be sure if you're selecting a free website generator that allows you to build your website, that you're selecting one that will allow you to post on all platforms. We're going to talk a little bit now about art competitions. Art competitions is another wonderful way for you as a young artist to get your work out there. To get your work in front of people, your peers. Experts agree, actually, this is one of the best ways to push yourself as an artist. Feedback and critique is so important. Without it, we can't grow. There's many competitions that are all around the nation and the state. Like I said earlier, get online, find a search engine, and actually search for competitions. You'll find that there's many listed around, different types as well. Anti-smoke competitions, anti-drug, perhaps one is a cancer research. It's many types of competitions that exist out there for you. Here's one that's actually for high school. So this is an art competition that's taking place in Kentucky, where I'm currently at and where the course is being designed. So in your particular state, you can search for many competitions that exist. Be sure to apply and see what happens. This helps build your bio and your credential for a potential art school one day. Word of mouth is important too. When your work starts to become developed and people start to look at it more, enjoy it, buy it, use it, this is going to be shared with others. As this information grows and people learn about your work, you'll find that many people will start to navigate towards your work. The more that you enter competitions, build your bio, build your portfolio, establish yourself online through social media, your own website, and maybe perhaps even a website that carries work for sale, you'll see that your art will grow and you will as an artist too. So we'll take a look a little bit now about the different events which allow you to network. Networking is a huge aspect of art and sharing your work. Building a robust network in the art world is one of the most effective ways to promote your art. In addition, a network can expose you to new art opportunities that you might not otherwise know. One person may know about a certain event that exists. You never heard of that event, or maybe perhaps an organization such as the Kentucky Art Council. You learn about this event, and then now you're able to participate, join, and then perhaps even go as far as to win or enter competitions. Word of mouth is important in art. It helps develop and grow and helps sustain art communities. There's student art contests in every avenue and corner of the nation, and the world even. The United States Congress has an art competition each year. Here's an example from the Kentucky Derby Festival Foundation. Search for these, find these, enter them, and see what happens. When you meet people within the community, don't forget to follow up with them. Stay in contact with folks that you meet. It's important. If you go to an event, you find a nice charity event or something that you can enter into competition base wise, and you meet people, don't feel bad if you don't place or win. Meeting people and actually growing as a network helps you as an artist, so your online portfolio can be shared with others. The more people find out about your work, the better. Networking is also connected to art organizations. You have to remember that your art is a business, and just like any business, networking is an important part of making your work relevant. The best ways to network on a professional level is become an active participant in art organizations. If you do become involved with organizations, not only will you be able to make friends who then themselves can become enthusiastic promoters of your art and use you for theirs, of course, but these organizations offer a wide range of resources that can be available there to help strengthen your business model and give you support in promoting your work and building your brand as an artist. We also don't want to forget about community events. Locally hosted art fairs, street shows, even open studios. They provide a unique opportunity for you to connect with other artists in your area. In addition, as you become a fixture in the art communities there and around your community, you will start to see that you can also contribute in ways to help other artists. Remember to also bring print materials like business cards and flyers to these events. Don't underestimate the power of word of mouth. Chat with people. If they're interested in your work, be sure to respond warmly. So many art shows exist and opportunities for communities that you should be able to get involved fairly easy, even within your grade level. Be sure to also use these opportunities to reach out to others to find avenues where you can actually show your work locally. A lot of businesses will actually allow artists to post their work in their shops, and there's a small commission fee. These types of stores exist all over the nation. There's many in your community as well, I'm sure. Getting involved in the community can help promote your art. When you volunteer to use your artistic abilities to benefit your community, you build your reputation as an artist and can gain unexpected opportunities to promote your work. Just remember, charity events, even promoting your work in stores and businesses, local schools even have different events. Community projects, towns and cities are taking part in the streets via community mural projects. So volunteer your skills. Anytime you can get your work out there, it's going to help you. Anytime that you can actually promote yourself, it's not going to hurt. Any exhibitions you can get involved with, such as the one at the end of this pilot program, those are opportunities for you as an artist to grow. So remember, search for work, search for different organizations, search for different competitions. Always remember, it's powerful whenever you become involved with communities, and the word of mouth can carry a long distance. Look for different types of events that can come up. Again, there's many across our state, across our nation. Build an online portfolio. Remember that these portfolios are really similar to going into an actual gallery and looking around. Don't get overwhelmed by all the options for social media. Start with one and go from there. Work on your artist bio. Make sure that everything that you do is clearly labeled. If you're going to share your work online, I would advise you to scan your work instead of photographing. Remember also to develop your portfolio both in physical form and digital form, and try your best to avoid getting locked into one certain approach for social media. Remember, there's many approaches to it, many options that exist. Work on your brand. Make sure that you are in control of your work and what comes from it. And if you do all these things, you'll definitely promote your art. In the next unit, we'll be talking about running your art and as a small business. So this involves business cards, business plan, budgeting, profit, loss, gain, inventory. It's so much to think about. But remember, please, don't get overwhelmed.
So there you have it. Branding and portfolio come together for promotion. Social media is so important. You have the entire world at your fingertips, so if you produce something, you can share it with anyone, anywhere, at any time. That type of advantage has never been seen in human history, so it's something to take advantage of. I highly encourage everyone who's interested in art and graphic design to jump on board when it comes to promoting your work. You have so many outlets you could do that. Remember though, you have to follow through. Networking is key. Finding places to display your work is also important. More important than anything though is having an online presence, a portfolio on paper and digital. So thanks so much again for taking this course. I hope you enjoyed it so far. I look forward to seeing what everyone creates. And all the teachers out there, thank you so much. And until Unit 4 of Section 4, I'm Christopher Epling.